The gap is always that big?
Yeah, it's a little bit big.
Mind the gap.
If I need to reach out, though, it's going to be a disc. Hey, 71. We are into episode 72.
72.
72!
Gosh, numbers are so hard. Hello.
72.
Welcome to King Leo D&D, episode 72. Gosh, every time I say the number, it feels like we've done so much. And I don't know how much is left, but we're in for it. So, I think one thing we have established, though, that will be fun to talk about is after this campaign is over, some combination of Steven and Rachel, or Rachel is going to DM some form of shorter form.
Yes!
Maybe. We're not
I did not agree to one of those combinations.
Some combination of Steven and or Rachel. Steven,
primarily Steven, and
maybe
their
Rachel.
sub-Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel will be there.
That's just been DM'd.
And
That's
we're
a
going to
good
have
thing.
some form of shorter form story that will take place, DM'd by that combo in some form, in the interim between campaigns. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what that would look like.
Can we say the theme of it, or just the adjectives that you used to describe it, or is that secret?
We're thinking at this point of doing Critical Role's Candela Obscura for that, which is a very noir, dark themed story. And so that's about it for that. You can look that up and kind of see what they've got going on.
Spooky, as it were.
Spooky.
That'll be
Is
with
there
this
anything you'd like to
campaign
add
ends.
to it?
Well, you said
So, like, in
gothic
3
horror.
years?
Gothic horror, yeah. It's mainly, I know Taliesin Jaffe was like a huge writer on the content of it, and he's like the most gothic human to ever existed for the last couple of thousand years because he has existed for the last couple of thousand years.
Yeah.
So if you don't know who he is, he's part of Critical Role's cast, and he's perfect to write a story like this. So anyway, you can look forward to that whenever this campaign ends. That will be next. And so that's it for an announcement. And we got a gift that I want to hand out to everybody.
Gift. Oh, shoot!
Language.
Or should I say...
Sharks.
Short.
Thank you to our friends over at Madcap.
Wow!
Whoa.
Here you go.
Shirts,
Bam!
shirts,
I want you to throw it at me.
shirts,
This one is Sally's.
This is
the one you're
so
wearing.
cool.
Everybody else is on the side?
Shirts.
I think I did that right. Maybe I'm wrong.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all good. These were given to us by friends at Madcap Shirt Printing here in Charlotte, North Carolina. They look great under our lights here. They're super bright and popping with these neons.
I love them.
They're cool.
Is that a mind flare?
Yeah, we got an illithid in there.
They
There's
do
like
smell good.
a gnome. Looks like a gnome rogue.
I like that it
A
has
mimic.
Nat 20 written out.
It's got
I've never
Nat
seen that
20
before.
on it. They got the beholder. It just says adventure right by the illithid.
Wow.
Very, very classic, campy looking D&D shirt.
Adventure is out there.
It looks...
Yes.
Yeah,
I love it.
Kinda
Very
easy.
kind. They thought of us and immediately wanted to print us up one for everyone as they were working on this design and everything.
Aw.
Thanks, Tyler.
Yeah, thank you, Tyler. Thank you for the crew out at Madcap for thinking of us and sharing these with us.
Amazing.
Super great. Next is the toast. We kind of already toasted, but random new toast from Michael Holt.
Random new toast from Michael Holt. May your arrows fly straight and your food taste great. Nice! Bing
I
bong.
love that happening in my
Bing.
food and arrows.
Great. But before we get into anything serious, I think we're also doing our traditional movie recap. So, does anyone have a movie they want to throw out right now?
I've never seen Legally Blonde 2.
You've seen
I'm just
Lily
gonna go.
one though.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can go based. Yeah, you can go based on the
Go for
first
it.
one.
Okay, cool. So
It's called Legally Blonde 2, Red, White, and Blonde, right?
Yeah.
So between the first and second Legally Blonde, tensions between the U.S. and Russia escalated to such a degree that we did have complete nuclear annihilation of the planet. But thankfully, the Mrs. Blonde had been on a secret mission under the water, and the nuclear couldn't get under there. And so she was fine, but all the fish can talk now. And so
Yeah, Red, White, and Blonde.
she uses all of her fish to win the legal case against the new global emperor Putin to have to legally make him fix the Earth, and then everything goes back to normal.
Was it like Agent Blonde?
Yeah.
Like Jen Blonde? Blonde? Jen Blonde?
Yeah.
Double O Blonde.
Double Blonde.
00 Blonde.
Blevin.
Blonde. 00 Blonde.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And that's what happens in Legally Blonde 2.
Does she have to like give him her voice or something like that, and like go
Yeah.
up onto Russia and like?
Yeah, Putin calls all of us we're all poor unfortunate
It
souls.
was a little
Yeah.
too real for me, honestly.
Oh, whoops. Well,
That's too real.
We can talk later. We'll check in. Make sure
is
we're
Legally
all
Blonde 2 a glimpse of the
Cool.
future? I guess we'll find out. Anyways.
right. Shall we then step into our actual recap of episode 71?
Yes.
Great. Who would like to take that on?
I can do it.
Great.
Okay. We started with we arrived at the city and we are overlooking it, where we had a conversation talking about our next steps. And we came up with a tentative plan to try and lure Tari and Farlane to one part of the city. Also, kind of concurrently with that, Nemo realizes or knows that Remy, who we're also looking for from his clan, is trapped in a cave-in somewhere in the city. So that's another objective that we have. We entered the city. We're trying to sneak through. Lilith said that we should try and find a boat as our first subtask. And so we get down into the city. We see a bunch of skeletons. A lot of people died in the destruction of the city. We come across, we finally get to a river where we're still looking for a boat. We come across a figure digging a hole with a shovel. It's Zengin from the Eastco family, who isn't supposed to be down here. We talked to him for a bit. Zengin kind of explains himself why he's down there. He's burying his family. There's a light storm in the middle of it. We warn him about the South Coves being down here as well. And Zengin wants to talk with Lilith and Jacques alone. But Misery and Tuli, primarily Misery, are curious about what that conversation is going to be. So even though we were told not to listen in, Misery is staying by the river to listen in while the rest of us go up the river a ways to find a boat.
Perfect. And so, to get us actually into the session, I'd like everyone to leave the room except for Misery.
He's in the business of misery. Let's take it from the top.
I was trying to work in misery business somewhere, but...
Whoa. Bye.
And be sure to pay attention so that our note taker can capture what you retell later. To be captured for all
Pay so
time.
much attention.
Perfect. Okay. So you scramble through some of the rubble of what is now the East Cove side, where Zangin's family is from. As you are still there, Jacques, Lilith, and Zangin have all collected by the water, by the river that is flowing towards the center of all of this, and you are scrambling by some of the rocks and debris that's there. You get a little bit closer to a point where you can hear their whole conversation. And as you get closer, the first voice you hear is Jacques speaking up. You can only hear voices, you can't see them. That you're like hiding back behind. I trust this meeting holds great importance. Then Lilith's voice in return. Indeed, Jacques, the time to act decisively is apparent. Zangin's pain mirrors my own, and together we can seek justice against the South Cove family. We have the potential to align and remove the greatest threat to a long-term peace. And then Zangin. Lilith, say it plainly. Say that you think the fastest path to a true peace is war against the South Coves. Zangin, we share the same pain. I have lost less than you, and yet my passions for seeing the South Cove family pay for their blatant abuse of power burn steady. Then Jacques. Lilith, your honesty is commendable, but your motion to Gosh, okay, sorry, I wrote a word wrong. But your motion to go against everything the Sextant stands for is apparent. I did not step into this position to negotiate terms of war. I took on this role to negotiate peace. Lilith back. Jacques, the South Cove family threatens not only the families of old, but the new city too. It is time we put an end to their reign of terror. Our unity, our strength will be our greatest weapon. Zangin. Lilith, I have concealed my anger, my wrath, for the sake of peace. But after witnessing the remnants of my family's slaughter, I believe the South Coves must pay. They cannot escape their crimes. Jacques, you must understand your arrival into this community has left you without the bruises and broken bones of bloodshed and loss. Jacques, in return. Zangan, I understand your pain, but war should not be the answer. We risk exposing ourselves, endangering innocent lives. Is there no alternative? Zangan. Jacques, your reservations are justified, but I have witnessed the darkness within the South Coves. They must be held accountable. My heart longs for justice. Lilith. Zangan, I share your sentiment, but let us tread carefully. We can strategize, use our combined strength, and then dismantle the South Cove family and establish a lasting peace for our kind. Many who oppose will be left behind. Jacques. Lilith, Zangan, your intentions carry weight, and the path you tread is treacherous. I will consider this conversation carefully, but remember, sometimes the greatest battles are fought within ourselves. And then you can hear the footsteps of Jacques leaving that group. At this point, would you like to remain, or are you looking to get away?
I definitely want to remain, honestly, but
Okay,
we'll
roll
let
another
them
stealth check.
Zing and do by themselves. 16 plus 4, 20.
I think you still have the
Pass without trace?
pass without trace. I think that time is still there, so we'll bump
So
you to a 30. Okay. You see Jacques walk by, doesn't seem to notice you or anything, as he circles back and starts to follow up the river where the rest of the party went. Lilith. I have been training our hidden brethren, preparing an army in secret. In my family's training grounds are enough of my sisters to have restrained dozens of damn fear. I hope my arrival within the city reveals to me their success. I can see it in your eyes. Tell me you are with me. And then Zangan back. I have nothing to offer your efforts except diplomacy. My family is in ruins. I have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. Garmina must fall. Lilith, what of Jacques? Let me deal with him. If this conversation did not spark a flame of empathy in him, what would he do? Run to Daragirth or Levrette? He stands to gain nothing if he opposes. Let me return to my family's ruins. I may have another weapon at our disposal. And that is it.
Wow. So much information.
Hey y'all, let's play some D&D.
Let's play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Everyone always shows up late. I'm trying to play a game and they all left.
Play some Dunda.
It's so much information.
It's a lot of information. I mean, one big idea.
Yeah, did you write it
I
down?
come back with a gun and
Take
shoot them both. Roll for gun. I rolled a 4.
Okay, no gun.
No gun. Dang.
Roll
you got
for
a little
gun.
fuzzy. Good job. Wow, you guys get into blankets.
Yeah.
As you all are heading up the river, walking for what is going to be about 20 minutes or so. Happy birthday! Oh, we didn't even mention Joey's birthday for once we started recording.
Oh,
If you're listening to this, it was Joey's birthday 3 weeks ago.
Never mind, mine and Rachel's. Mike's not on, it doesn't.
We did not speak to you. Do not speak back.
The rest of the group, as you all are walking down the river the way that Zangan had pointed for a collection of boats, Jacques eventually catches up with you all. Any luck? Have you seen anything? Mm-mm.
Have we?
No, you're just on your walk towards the boats. Nothing has come up yet.
Not yet.
Great. Well, let us continue with haste and get these boats back to our allies. Okay. Go ahead. You don't have to roll a perception check or anything. You follow the river up and you get to a point where you can find 3 small boats. Each boat being able to hold about 3 people or so. 3 or 4. That'd be a little uncomfortable, but it's fine. And so, yeah, y'all can untie them, and each of you kind of paddle them. They have a set of oars, and you're just trudging along, trying to string them down the river. Takes you about another 5 to 10 minutes or so to get them to a point where you head back around the greenish colored river bend to get to where you are where Misery is and where you see Lilith and Zengan. For your sake, eventually as you get back to where you were before, Lilith and Zengan can walk back and... Oh, do you remain hidden that entire time?
Well, I don't want to like pop out and be like, oh, look at me, I'm all by myself.
That's interesting, yeah. So the boats get back.
I want to like be able to be like, hey everybody, like I was here the whole time.
Let's go ahead and do one more stealth check for you as you try to rejoin the party of boats without being noticed.
That's a nat 20.
Okay.
That's what I'm
So what, 34?
What? We think you were with us the whole time.
34?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I still
Because you
have
still
trace.
pass without trace on from you.
Whoa.
Which is Warrington at this point, so I think it lasts an hour, right? Okay, yeah, so we're at a point where it's going to wear off. Okay, so yeah, you were able to get by the river and kind of join in a way that looked like you were with the group the whole time. So, as you get the boats over towards the shore, and Lilith and Zengan walk over, Jacques with you all and in one of the boats. Lilith, well, we have what we need, and she kind of looks down the river off. My family's cove is just around the bend if we get these boats situated. It seems like all of our interests are to get us there. Is it time to go?
Let's do it.
Let's go. Time we go.
Let's go.
How big is this boat?
Each boat holds 3 or 4 people.
Oh, you said
so.
Okay.
So if you are controlling a boat, raise your hand. We need 3 or 4 people to do it. And Lorelith is also here.
What's the style of boat?
They are like rowed by hands. A little twofer. One person could probably move each boat that way, while another 3 people sit in each one.
Strength is my best strength.
I should probably do that.
Sure.
I'm gonna make sure to get on Pilgrim's boat.
Okay.
I'm rowing. Here I am.
Okay. If you're rowing one, raise your hand real quick for me. 1, 2, 3. Chris will offer to row one. Chris as well, as he was with you all too. So he's got a boat. So that leaves, we've got Lorelith to join a boat. Tuli, do you want to say which boat Lorelith gets in since you're...
Yes, she gets
Don't mess
in.
this up.
She gets in Felon's boat.
Great, good call.
Because Tuli is already in Gwen's boat.
And then Misery's in
Gwen's
Pilgrim's
like,
boat. I need to write this down, I think.
No, I
But
forgot you were being
maybe
loyal.
I'm
I
right.
was like,
Which
seriously,
leaves-
Right now we're
Why?
And Chris has his own boat. Zangan will get in Chris's boat.
Wait.
I don't know if you need to keep
Okay,
track, but that's fine. Zangan and Chris in the boat.
We all get in boats.
Lilith will...
Zangan's coming with us.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's a great call. Zangan is staying in his city. That is exactly what Zangan is doing.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Thank
Very
you.
boat. Just
Yes.
turn the down just a little.
Sure. You're right. I was just thinking through, like, where is everyone going? I'm not thinking about what do people want to do. Lilith will hop in the boat with Gwendolyn. And Jacques will get in the boat with Pilgrim.
When Jacques tries to get in the boat with
Okay.
Pilgrim,
Yep.
I just say like, hey, Jacques,
Yes.
I don't think, me and Pilgrim kind of have a vibe here, and I don't think you kind of match like the boat vibe that we're trying to get.
I don't mind if Jacques joins us.
Can I like signal?
Yeah.
Try to like do a sneaky signal that's like just go along with it.
You're very roguish, and he's very insightful. So I think this is pretty good. You can just do that.
Okay.
Gonna mind link with him.
Sure.
Are we good?
Just don't let Jacques get on the boat. I want to talk to you in private.
Jacques is at this point kind of reaching over to the boat that you're in, getting ready to steady it to try to get in.
Do I see that this is going on?
You're in a different boat, kind of situated here and stuff. You can probably see it from a distance, yeah, but...
Jacques, if you would be so kind, there were some private matters that Misery and I were discussing previously that we would appreciate some space to continue discussing.
Of course, I can respect that.
Yeah, it's really gross. So.
I hope you feel better.
Yeah.
Pilgrim.
Thank you. It is Nemo now. Thank you.
Oh,
Right.
And he just awkwardly walks up.
Now he feels bad. Cool.
Great.
I'd say if I see him doing that, I wave if I have room in my boat.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, so Jacques carries on down.
Thank you, Jock.
Of course, yep. Okay. Everyone is in some collection of boats and rowing down the river.
Merrily?
Merrily. Gwen, Tuli, and Lilith are in a boat together. And then Chris and Jacques be in your boat. That's good. Maybe this is 3 boats. We'll do that.
And Laura, is she in mine?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
Chris,
Wolfie.
Jacques,
And
Lorelith,
Wolfie,
and Dylan.
And Wolfie.
And Wolfie. And then we've got these two in their own private little boat.
Yeah, that's funny.
You just hear Tuli like trying to be quiet but not quiet at all across the water because it carries. You just hear her going, and it's ladies' night.
Please stop that.
Stop.
Right.
She sings quieter.
All right, in this little private boat, do we have a little conversation now?
Yeah.
Great. Everyone can stay here for this. This is fine.
Yeah. We'll all know eventually. Just.
What's up?
Hey. I'm trying to be responsible here, okay? And tell you because you're responsible. I was gonna tell Tuli, but I know what she would do. So. Well, I don't know what she would do. I guess that's kind of the point. But I overheard some stuff. Jacques and Lilith and Zingin were talking, and it really sounds like Lilith and Zingin both want to, start a war with the South Coast, or at least wipe them out entirely. And Jacques doesn't. But, I mean, he left and it was just Lilith and Zingin talking, and Zingin, has an army he's building or something?
I'll take that as my fault, just in case the voices got confusing. It was Lilith.
Lilith has an army. Okay. Lilith's building an army. The orphans!
That was Treya.
That was
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, she borrowed them.
Gosh, where is she?
God, I hate Treya.
Oh.
Ruined!
As you throw up over the boat, you just hear Jacques go, hope you feel better.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the gist of it. They both, have been hurt by South Coast, I guess, and they just want revenge and need to end it.
It seems everyone here has been hurt by the South Coast.
Yeah. I mean, my first thought was, cool, let's go to war with them, but I wanted to tell someone more responsible.
Well, wars are really cool.
What did you say?
Wars are really cool.
Rarely cool or really cool?
Rarely. Rarely.
Okay.
Rarely cool. And always devastating.
Yeah.
I wonder. No.
And?
Yes, and.
Both and.
I wonder if this is a matter we want to be in the middle of. We did arrive late to the show here of years of building tensions and did find ourselves right in the middle of a house war, it seems. I wonder if we want to get further enmeshed in such a war or let the houses do what they see fit.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we were just here to get a stick, but we might end up...
Get a stick, save a fellow Kalistar.
Right, that too. Don't forget that.
I haven't.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing this with me. I agree. It's quite some tea.
So spooky.
Hot tea.
Hot tea.
Yes, spooky, dangerous, many implications. We should be wary as we progress into what will certainly be another encounter with South Coast.
I'll just be ready for war at all times, I think.
Reasonable.
And obviously we'll tell the rest of the group, but I can't if Jacques or if Singing or Lilith are around, because then they'll know that I know,
Indeed, this is
and they'll hate me.
a matter that should
And right
stay.
now, they love me.
Right now, they do not know that you know.
Okay.
And now we're done talking. And I return to rowing in dead silence.
Keep throwing up over this.
Lilith in Gwenlyn and Tuli's boat. Interesting to see Zangan here after he had expressed his disinterest of coming down to the city. Tuli, what do you make of this?
Well, I mean, I guess I don't know Zangan as well as you do, but, and she kind of like leans in, she's like, I'm gonna be real with you. I think it's a little interesting the South Coast are down here and Zangan is down here. I don't know, maybe there's a connection. But like, what do you think?
Interesting that you would think they're colluding. Is that your insinuation?
Colluding, or he is following them, or I don't know. I wouldn't accuse anyone of colluding without more evidence, like, because that could be like real embarrassing for everyone involved. But
And have drastic implications.
sure.
Yes. My first journey here was to see where my foremothers originally lived, and Zangan. Zangan seemed to have desired the same type of journey. Does not seem that he liked what he found.
Oh, F-O-R-E. Oh, okay. What were you saying?
Nothing.
Tuli says, I can certainly understand wanting to honor your ancestors, both you, and she does like her little thing, and she says like, both for yourself and for Zangan. So I do understand that, but it seems a pretty huge coincidence that we are all here at the same time, and the South Coast are here.
Yes, every house of the old city that remains, and yet no follower of Drenton or Anivia. Even Jacques is here. Quite a reunion of sorts.
Well, I suppose that depends on whether or not we think the South Coves are worshipping Drenton.
That is true. Farlane was at the Temple of the Chain.
And I don't know what's going on with Tari, but I would not put that past her.
Okay. And then you.
She sucks.
Noted. And you have some affiliation with Anivia, is that right?
Sure, yeah, that's correct. Loosely.
How was your time at the Temple of the Cloth?
Confusing.
Yes.
Yes. I definitely don't like Drenton. There was some prophecy mentioned, maybe a counter prophecy to some prophecies of Drenton.
Oh,
Yeah, we honestly have no idea what it all means.
do you have any of it on you, or know much of it?
Do I perceive that she is being earnest? Do
Sure.
I have any sense of her suddenly like quickening in an interest in a
Yeah.
malicious way?
Yeah, insight check.
Okay. Insight check is +4. 19 plus 4,
Nice.
which is 23.
And I knew that,
In case
and
you were
knew that.
wondering,
I
Dan.
was checking that you knew that.
Yeah, no, that's great. Interesting that you are like calculating what you were saying and trying to be precise and not reveal too much, but also like answer questions, and you're trying to gauge like what is she specifically interested in, like what is she jumping on topic wise. And as you have been paying attention to her questions and the way that she's been talking with you, she actually seems way more interested in what you were talking about in general and you in your evaluations of this. She's like paying attention to the way that you are picking up on information, what you think is important, and she's like almost evaluating you as a person way more than any of the content of what you're actually saying.
So I sense she's trying to decide whose side I'm on.
Yeah, that would be part of it. Both evaluating you as just somebody who pays attention. And so she's like, you even like are looking across the boat. You see like you're with Gwen being pretty soft-spoken. There was a moment before this conversation started, she looked between the two of you and then pressed into you. And even that seemed like a deliberate choice. And then also as she's asking you these questions, like it's a bit of like affiliations and also like she really wants to know where you're at and what's your conclusions. The prophecy.
Yes, the prophecy. Okay, Tuli her intelligence is high.
Mm-hmm.
She's a bit of a ditz, like socially.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that she would just tell her everything.
I agree.
She's like legally blonde.
Pre or post nuclear fallout?
Post.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's definitely post.
Well, yeah.
Oh no. What happened?
The camera turned on.
And now they're all back.
Welcome back, everyone.
Wow,
Hi.
great to be
Oh.
here.
I wonder how long that went for.
I think that's weird
good,
that
it's
we
just
said nuclear and then
What is
Spooky,
that?
huh?
What is that?
Who doesn't
Anyway,
want
video's
to
back.
talk
We're good.
about this?
Our video's just
Okay.
completely cut out, all of them.
Tuli's gonna say, well, I'm here with my friends. I'm gonna do what they want us to do. We're still deciphering Anivia's prophecy. All I know is if Anivia is against Dretton, then I am the enemy of my enemy is my potential friend. That's all I know. And if the South Coves are involved in bringing Dretton back, then they're my enemy too. And then I would say, but honestly, I'd want to hear Gwen's thoughts first before I did anything.
Gwen's just rolling.
Gwen? Thoughts?
On the prophecy?
Or any of the topics that Tuli and I have been discussing?
Zangan? Weird. But I don't know if it's my business yet. Maybe it will be, but not yet.
Mm-hmm.
He gave good reasons, but it's weird. Prophecy. I think there are much better brains in the group to try and work through that than mine. I don't have quite the philosopher's mindset of my comrades. Here it sounds like a bunch of, just there's a saying where I come from. Higgledy-piggledy.
Can I hear it in the accent though?
You're right, it wasn't strong enough. There's a saying where I come from. Higgledy-piggledy.
Yeah, that's it.
Same. The I's not like that.
Higgledy-piggledy. There you go.
That's not my dialogue.
That's right.
That's not Gwen's dialogue.
I'm afraid I have never heard that before. What does that mean?
Well, it's a saying from where I'm from, so you probably haven't been there. Just like woo woo.
This is great. This is really good.
How really?
Just like hither and thither.
Tuli says, Gwen, you have such a way with words.
Just like, I don't know. Maybe it's BS.
Yeah.
Ah.
Just and I come from a hippie family, but a little bit hippity dippity. Higgledy piggledy.
That I've heard before. Now, a second time.
Gwen, I think you're too hard on yourself. I think we need someone with a good head on her shoulders like you.
Oh yeah, no, I have good skills, just philosophy's not one of them. But thank you.
You're welcome. And then Tuli's like, all right, that was a great conversation. An interaction well had.
I did it again.
Friendship acquired.
Star wipe.
So we're very balanced, Tuli. It's good.
Yeah.
Good.
All right,
Complimentary.
after a good 5 or 10 minutes or so, Lilith stands up on the boat. Gwendolyn, if you could lead us over, and then she points up to this gate that starts to become clear over onto your right side as you're taking this river bend around. That there is our river gate. If we proceed there, I will then get us to shore, and we can head towards my family's old citadel.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Okay. So as the boats convene and follow each other's paths, you eventually get to this coast where then the boats get to the shore and Lilith disembarks. And
Rachel just heard Gwen and Tuli have a good interaction.
so sweet. And as you get the boats ashore, then Lilith, first to disembark, grabs one of the ropes and starts to help pull them so that they don't then shift downriver or anything. What you all see in front of you is, pull up my map so I know what I'm looking at here. Okay, you see large, like, buttressed and reinforced gates that then eventually make contact with the side walls of this cove. This is honestly kind of like the new city up on the surface, where there was a massive cave system that's kind of bowl cut in, and then the natural walls of that cavern are then used to like kind of half circle the whole city on one side, and then the rest of it being a bit of an overhang into the surface. For here, it's pretty similar, except instead of it being overhang into like surface and daylight and things like that, it's opened to the massive center of where the river kind of flows through everything, and then there's the massive stone like center to where this river flows around, and it separates all 4 of these different sections. And so you can see the massive gate that juts out on either side, or the massive walls that go back on either side, and then an open gateway into the city, which straight through you can see a couple buildings that have fallen apart in this very narrow kind of vantage point into the city, but on a very high shelf of rock. In kind of the center of what you can see, a highly reinforced Gothic-styled citadel, very defensive-looking fortress that is in-walled deeper within the city that already has defenses and walls. So you can see several layers of protection. That's like a high value and priority of the way that this place has been constructed. As you get closer to the gate, off to the side, you can see rows and rows of mausoleums and grave sites, all surrounding the left side of the walls to the citadel. And then off to the right, you can see more like residential homes that have been carved into stone, and like different mounds and piles of the natural rock that have been like chiseled and carved into to form a bunch of these natural pockets of small homes that have sort of open window, like open square window cutouts and things like that too. Several of these falling apart on top of each other and look more just like a very organized pile of fallen rock.
Does Loreless detect the undead, or whatever that spells? It doesn't do proximity, right?
It doesn't tell specific direction or anything. It's just, is there a presence of that within a certain space?
Is that still active, that spell?
She would have to redo it. I don't know how often she can as well, but I will check.
I want to see if there's more of those bunch of pockets of potentially the appeared.
More left.
Darn.
Any other thoughts or questions or in-character things that happen once you hit this gate and see the city?
I'm looking around to see if there are any structural failures where it seems like rocks have come and just ruined things.
Yep.
Who are you, your dad?
Yes.
Your dad's an architect.
Yeah.
Is that the Go ahead and roll a perception check.
Are we doxing
Steve is
right
sad as an
You
architect.
have docked.
My dad's always looking for cave-ins. I rolled a 5. What kind of check is it? Insight?
Perception.
Perception? Alright.
Inside.
If I were a cave-in,
How do the rocks feel?
15.
15. This is really great.
What?
Great perception.
He's got a really good.
Yeah, what are you complaining about?
Okay, it would take a spell slot for her to use the primeval awareness if you want to, and I can mark that.
sure.
Okay. That's a really good look for some like cave-ins and structural damage. There's, as you see the dome, like half dome cave wall around this area, you can discern like 3 particular spots that look like there have been larger general like cave-in type phenomena that happened within this area.
Okay. I think I'm going to walk to the nearest one.
It's like across the city. You'd be like leaving your group to go.
Fiddlesticks.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then, in that case, I turn to the group.
Remy was able to communicate that she was trapped behind a cave-in of sorts. So I am eager to investigate the areas where it seems like there has been a cave-in, in the hopes of finding Remy.
Tuli says, yeah. Or she says, yeah, totally down to do that. Also, about the South Coves, and she, Tari and Farlane, and she says to a little group, after considering, I feel as though setting up a big flare in a city of Dampier is probably not the best move. That's a bummer, because I was, like, real excited about that plan.
Laura will speak up then, too, and say, I do sense that there is a very strong presence of whatever these things are here.
Oh.
So, I don't know. What do you guys think our order of priorities should be? I mean, I don't want to be looking for Remy and, like, the South Tari and Farlane, like, stumble upon us.
I'm going to my citadel. I feel safe now that you have gotten me this far. Jacques, up to you where you would like to go. Chris? Anyway, I will head to my citadel and see what there is to find. If you wish to join me, you may. If you would rather go and explore and look for your lost family member, you may.
Do you think your citadel might be a good place to, if we tried and, like, lured the Tari and Farlane there, we could keep the Dampier out and let them in? Would that be possible?
Let who in? Dan asking?
The Tari and
Tari.
Farlane, like, if we were to lure them to
To
this
fight
part of the city to ambush them, is the citadel such that we could let Tari and Farlane in but keep all the Dampier out? That would also be lured by whatever we did?
Depending on timing, yes, it would be an advantageous structure to see enemies coming towards.
Okay. Well, maybe we should try and find Remy first and bring her to the citadel? Maybe she's injured.
Indeed.
We should definitely get out of the open as soon as we can.
Whatever we do, it must be swift and silent. Soft and swift as shadows we must be.
Well, I speak softly, but I carry a big stick. So.
Laura says,
Theodore?
Laura says, what are you talking about?
Wolfie says, oh,
Wow. Okay, you play Wolfie.
I got it.
Woof.
Right.
No,
To the
it's not
cave-in.
the noise.
Right.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
go find
the
Remy.
closest cave-in.
I want to try again.
You all see Lilith raise the sleeves of her robe back, and you can see her very slender, almost white
She has a
hand
tattoo.
extend out, and then as she waves the hand over herself, like
You okay?
Joey loses it when she does
it looks like to you the actual casting of like the darkness spell, in the way that it just creates this massive large form where it's like completely opaque, but it just like locally clings to her, and she casts that on herself, and then she almost looks like a shadow in and of itself, just moving off towards the citadel. Harder to track, very hard to see. She almost dissipates into the darkness as she goes.
I'm fascinated. I don't want to slow us down, but I want to try and discern what that spell is.
Sure.
The same way I discerned what Meteor Storm was.
Yes. Go ahead and roll an Arcana check.
If y'all can continue as I 18?
Okay. This seems like a very precise manipulation of what is used to make the darkness spell. It in itself is probably its own spell on its own. It's, to you, odd. It seems like, in the way that wizards create magic from a deep understanding of what it is, you can see that there's like an element of her that can like manipulate magic. So it's like you learn magic by understanding how it works. She seems to be doing a little bit of like telling magic how to work.
So she has a different school of magic.
Perhaps.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah. Or at least in this case, she's using it in a different way than you would. But
To the cave-in.
Great.
Oh wait, Lilith, Lilith, where's your cell?
Okay, you don't need to ask that.
Okay.
It is a very obvious building that she is heading towards.
So we asked anyway. Just kidding.
You hear that kind of echo out, and there's no response as her shadow just kind of fades away. And there is an ominously centered building to the center of this city that is a raised defensive structure, kind of halfway between a castle and through like a fort. And that's the direction she's heading, and you can tell that that's the main like family center and where important people would house.
Family centers are like a jungle gym, like a whole
Oh.
area, ball pit.
Yes. She's going to the cryptic gothic ball pit.
Like,
Stephen, write that down.
Go ahead and roll a. Let's just do an investigation check.
Investigation.
Just email.
Yes.
12.
Total?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, Rick. Gosh.
I would like everybody to make a stealth check.
No, I made so many.
And do one for Lorelith as well. Gwendolyn, if you could do one for Chris.
19.
Okay.
Oof. 7.
6.
6.
Gwen got a 9.
Laura.
Oh
Even
god.
though I want to give it to Chris.
Laura is 8.
Oh.
Does Chris have plus anything?
Yeah, what did you roll though?
You rolled a 5, so.
Okay.
I added Laura's stealth already
Okay.
to 8.
Okay.
Wow.
We're very.
All sub 10, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for you.
Yeah, I'm 19.
I'm
Where's Nemo?
Yeah.
Yes, you definitely kind of keep off on your own. Okay. As you all are navigating through the city, any conversation updates or anything like that? I think also, give me 1 second. Joey, roll a d4 for me as well.
2.
Great. As you all were getting ready to leave, and in the interim where, like, right after Lilith did too, Jacques just speaks up and goes, "You know what? I think I'm going to stick with her." And then
Sick.
he follows Lilith and heads back towards the Citadel with her. So we just have Chris with you all at this point.
And Chris doesn't matter.
To Lilith, anyway.
Yeah. So with them gone, I'll tell everybody everything, by the way.
With Chris there too? You're fine
Yeah,
with that?
I'll
Okay,
go
cool.
out here.
Well, let them go ahead and do that as you're walking.
Hey guys. I already told Pilgrim, but I overheard some stuff. You already heard it from me before, but Lilith and Zingin want to kill all the South Coast and go to war if necessary. And that seems scary, but kind of cool. And Jacques doesn't. And Lilith's making an army, and she's like super ready to do it. Deep. I don't know if we want to be involved or not, but anyway, there you go.
What kind of army? Chris, just immediately.
Chris! Oh, it's made up of like Danfear, right? I'm asking the Lord.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, it's made up of Danfear. A Danfear army.
Oh, he didn't hear you, did he?
And like,
Okay.
Lorelith, if you saw like a gaggle
What do you want
in
to
your
do?
mind brain, I feel like that might be part of the army. I don't know. Or maybe it's back home. She didn't say where it was.
Tuli, like when Misery started talking, like spun around backwards and is like walking backwards, like listening to you. And she has like a pensive look on her face.
You did hear, just to kind of add this detail too, after she said that army was being maintained. She said that there was enough of her family here within the old city to capture a couple dozen Damphir to restrain them, and she hopes to see their success when she enters her old West Code area. Was how she talked about that.
So she's gonna get more.
Her family's down here.
Her family's down here.
Like alive and well. Not just bones.
Wait, what? There are alive people down here? The damn dude.
Well, we
What's
know
that,
there's
then?
been... Well, I'm not talking. I'm being stealthy and quiet.
You're so silly.
I'm just sneaking
Yeah,
in.
apparently her family's down here. So I think she's going to do that right now. And she's going to kind of start something.
Tuli says, okay. Pros and cons. Just kidding. She says, well, on the one hand, the South Coves are supposedly tied up in some kind of big evil Drenton thing. Maybe raising a Pori, maybe bringing back the dragons. So maybe it's not the worst thing in the world for them to be stopped. I mean, do they have civilians or whatever? Not that that's not necessarily our business, but...
I don't know. But do we kill them all? Is that the answer? Seems like a bad answer.
Like at this rate, when there's 2 coves left, they'll just destroy each other. Anyway.
Yeah.
Such is the pattern, it seems.
So Zengen's cool with this?
Zangan's down.
At minimum, Lilith is lying to us. And we could get caught up in something really nasty here.
What did Lilith lie about?
Well, she did tell us the truth about her family being down here and wanting a stick. Is there even a stick?
Oh.
I bet there's no stick.
I bet there's no stick.
It was a shtick.
Tuli runs over and high fives.
The clap reverberates.
about a 6th
initiative.
level of stealth in that clap.
That's so good.
Or maybe it's a really powerful stick
just like-
that will help her do the things. I don't know.
Like a stick that controls the undead or
I
something.
mean, it's a scepter, so sounds fancy.
Darcy.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think, I don't even think Dallin would have said it was a shtick. That was Michael.
Yeah.
I don't think Dallin has heard much of this conversation. He's
Yeah.
almost on high alert, like a cat, kind of.
Yep.
Walking towards whichever cave in we decided, and
Yeah.
kind of
What do
low
you
down.
do?
Even though I'm not stealthy, just listening and trying to see
Great.
what's
Roll a
going on.
perception check for him as well.
Like a cat, but with human eyes.
Yeah.
Ugh. 16.
Okay, great. As the rest of your party is shuffling around and moving through rubble, and at one point you're heading through kind of a center street by some of the smaller buildings off to the side, you can hear a little bit of an echo come out from a misstep from one of the party members, and Wolfie, his hair starts to raise up, and he lets out a low growl, and then his head starts swiveling around, and then you start to just kind of perk up and listen around as well, and extremely silently, without any announcement or even a rapid approach on the rooftops, which the roofs are 10 feet-ish maybe, it's pretty low, of a couple of the buildings surrounding you all. You can see barely raggedly clothed, very sinewy and gaunt-looking figures just slowly creeping with their fingertips towards the edge of the building. And then as you look, they're completely human-looking with patchy, ragged hair hanging down. You've seen a couple of figures like this from the city. Lorelith has seen them more close up and has talked about it. These you can immediately assume are Damphir. These are feral, vampiric people who clearly have been very blood-starved while down here as well. And they are,
We have blood.
as you are seeing them pretty immediately reading this too, you're being hunted, and they are stalking, and they are very silently following along. And at this point, you're practically surrounded, and you gauge that there's 6 or 7. Nobody's rapidly moved. It's like
And I'm the only one in the party that notices.
right now, yes. Pilgrim is off in the front. He's scanning ahead. He's trying to lead you all over towards the nearest rubble of an area up ahead, and then in pairs all the way back. It's like the rest of your party as they're moving through.
Did they recognize that I see them? Is that something I would know? Like, dude.
I'd say you're stealthy like enough in just clocking their eyesight that like you haven't really responded or anything. Also, they seem like very quickly poised, like ready to move. Like they're not just like you've got like a small window of like what are we doing and make your command of whatever that is.
Who's the closest to me?
This is nothing
this
right
isn't
now.
anything.
So would you say you'd be more towards the front or the back?
Towards the front.
Okay, then I'd say Pilgrim is kind of close to you.
Okay.
Chris and Gwen probably the next, and then I'd say one of you two had the rear. Or does that make sense? Or would Gwendolyn have the rear?
I was walking backwards because I was in front of Elise Missouri.
Okay.
Can I get Pilgrim's attention with a puff of wind or something like that?
Yeah.
Without drawing any attention.
You hear a. I can help kind of give a little diagram of it. Let me blow in your ear real quick, buddy.
Help me to illustrate.
This is not the actual situation. I'm just clearing the board. So, mind not what you see underneath.
No, we didn't do the secret tunnel.
Secret tunnel.
Secret tunnel.
You can try to get any damage from it.
Oh, we missed it. We missed the tunnel. Got it?
Wow. Oh!
Oh no.
Wiki, don't eat dice.
Wiggy loves the taste of dice.
What are you saying to Pilgrim as you stop him?
If he turns around and looks at me, I just tap on my temple to kind of signify,
Oh.
talk to me.
Hello. Mind link. Hello.
Don't make any sudden movements, but I believe that we are being followed very closely by the Damnfear. And I want to let the party know without letting them know that we know.
Understood. And I'm gonna kind of lead the way, and I kind of gesture with my head to like, let's switch spots.
Yep.
And I'm just gonna basically slowly work my way to the back of the line, trying to like, as discreetly as I can, acting like I'm just kind of like weaving between people, like looking at the walls and things, but not looking up. And I'm going to, each time I pass a person in our party, mind link and say, we are being stalked by the Damnfear. Don't make sudden movements. Don't look up. Play it cool, but be ready. And I'm just gonna kind of keep connecting, disconnecting as I kind of like work my way back, kind of relaying that until I'm at the back of the party.
Okay. You can go ahead.
Did we establish that my daylight spell would stop them?
We said that for like the shadow constructs.
Yeah, you've 0 experience with vampires of any like battle capacity.
But in our lore, I don't know if we would have shared this with Felon. Like we studied them back in Populous.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Where we said that I think we said it doesn't hurt them.
Okay.
Like traditionally.
I think my backpack has a lot of garlic in it.
When Pilgrim gets to Tuli, her face goes white, absolutely white.
Because he mind linked, or before he mind linked?
Because he mind linked.
Yeah.
And she like shivers a little bit and like kind of coughs, like covering her retch, but like doesn't quite retch. And what I would like to do is like go like and go like this and cast mage armor.
Okay.
As a buff.
Right. That is done.
So I do that.
Great.
Is that the one that lasts for 8 hours?
How?
It's not.
Are there like? So
Oh, yeah,
they're above us right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Then
on like walls, and we're
Yeah.
walking through kind of like a thing.
Yeah, and they're keeping up. And so eventually, as you're still continuously walking, you can see them leap the 7 or so feet that's between some of the building structures.
Okay.
It's completely silently. It's almost like a little glide and
Yeah.
grab on, and even their hands and legs or feet as they're moving them onto the rooftops of these buildings are like making absolutely no sound at all.
Right. And what do we see? Is there an end to the tunnel or wherever we are that we see that might be a place
if you were
of
to
altercation?
continue on this street to go all the way to where it would end towards the cave back, which is where the kind of cave-in type structure is, you're looking at maybe 80 to 100 feet at this point.
Okay.
100.
So, how do you all continue to move? Is your goal to make it to the end of the street, keeping everything as kosher as you can?
I would say I wouldn't want to be fully surrounded.
Mm-hmm.
So I would almost want, I don't know, to get to a place where we wouldn't be surrounded on all sides. Which would be walking towards the end, right?
Yeah.
Alright.
Safe stages, I don't know. That's kind of, I would just continue walking unless somebody says something else.
Okay. Anyone else doing any types of preparations or...
I still don't know what's going on, right?
No,
I mind linked with
Mind
everyone.
linked with
With everybody?
Yeah,
Oh,
working
okay.
my way back. Kind of told everyone to ready themselves. Be on high alert. And now I'm at the back of the party.
I would try to, I mean, I know we're still walking, but I would like get out of our weird line formation and try to like make a circle of some sort. But I can't do that by myself, so.
When Pilgrim mind linked with me, I would try and remind him what we learned about vampires in our research.
Yep.
And I would honestly probably throw up a little bit. But I'd make it look like, oh, this rock. I like that rock anyway. It's just so you can share it, that they are resistant to necrotic damage. Any type of attack that is not magical, they can also resist. This is from our research. You tell me if this is wrong.
Yeah, you're good.
A vampire can't enter a residence without an invitation. So if we're able to run into a residence real quick, I don't know if that still applies to Danebeard or not. We don't know. A vampire does take damage and seems hurt if it is submerged in running water.
Would you all have left the river area?
Yeah. Sunlight sensitivity. So they are sensitive to sunlight, but not in like a dissolve kind of way. More in like a. I wrote blood coming out of their body way. I don't know what that means.
Gross.
And if a piercing weapon made of wood is driven into their heart, they are incapacitated, not killed.
Okay. I would just say that I would be prepared to cast daylight. That's just
Okay.
like what I'm thinking.
Yep.
I'm just thinking, okay, we're gonna make this. Even if I see one of them jump, that's gonna be the first thing that I would do to
Okay.
kind of just prepare us all.
Got it. So what I'd like to do is we'll have, for the extent of this like 80 to 100 feet, so I'm gonna have everybody roll one stealth check. And the idea here in this is not that you're not trying to be found, but it's like, do you at any point do something or in any sudden movement or in some way that might provoke them to immediately attack, or does something become open in y'all's formation that makes the attack kind of jump in? And before y'all roll, so we're gonna have them re-roll for all of this,
Oh, boo.
because I didn't ask for it yet, and I still have more some context. Is there, and this is actually to help you, is there anything where if this were to fail, you would want to immediately do it? Like, you've got daylight prepped.
Yeah.
You've already done your mage armor, but if there's something there, like, y'all are aware of the presence. Y'all are high anxiety right now, very aware of if that were to happen. So I imagine there would be some immediate reactions in case you notice some type of swift movement.
I would blow my horn.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay. You don't have to pick which thing you'd use from it yet, but if it happens, you would get that. Yeah.
We're kind of like in a little alleyway.
Yeah.
Like if I cast this, would the whole
Yes.
whole cave light up, or just the area where we are?
What's the range of the light?
I think it's 100 feet.
Okay. It would be a small portion. Are you chewing on a die?
I think it's
That's why they call it die.
Did you eat a piece of this? Or did it break when it fell?
She just started showing up.
Okay. We're good.
Dan's fine. He's a very stressed out parent. Everyone.
It's 60 feet, Dan.
Okay. Yeah, that's a small portion of the city.
Okay.
I'll look for it. It's fine.
Enough about
She's been shooting on her toy.
Are there like doorways around us, or are we just in a random alleyway?
Yeah.
A lot of the buildings there have collapsed on themselves. Go ahead and just roll a d100, and if you roll 60 or higher, somewhere within your immediate range, I'd let there be a building that is still intact.
Well, let me remove the nat 20 I rolled from the die block.
Oh no.
Roll my d100. No, it's a 10.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
but
yeah.
add the other number.
Yeah, wait.
All the buildings that you see are rebel and fallen upon themselves.
Not residential.
So, immediate reactions from anyone. What would you be doing in case there's a misstep or something happens? Horn, daylight,
I would,
anything?
Could I rage?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
I would cast Fire Shield.
Okay. And Pilgrim, anything? Okay, great. Go ahead and roll stealth.
You just eat a piece of wood.
Am I rolling for
Hey!
Chris again?
Nat 20.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
What? Doing
Am I
stealth?
rolling for Chris again?
Yeah.
It's better.
16.
Anything 15 or less is a failure.
Chris failed. Well,
Okay.
he got a 6, so I assume
Okay.
he doesn't have enough to add on.
Okay.
Tuli failed. Or
Okay.
left did not.
Okay.
I failed.
Okay.
Okay.
Pass.
Oh yeah, not 20. 3 failures was the trigger anyway. So as y'all are walking,
That's okay. Let's get the show on the road.
Yeah, let's
it was
wait.
Chris, Misery, and who was the other one that failed?
Tuli.
And Tuli. Okay. So those are the 3 that are initially going to be dove at. So this isn't starting the actual fight, but what you all are reacting to is the movement of 2 towards Tuli, the movement of 2 immediately. These are diving off of the buildings and moving in with extremely swift reflexes. And then Chris, who is by Gwenlyn. Okay, so these are like all in the back. Y'all are all right next to each other. And you've collected 6 of these Damphir who immediately run and dive over towards y'all.
It casts bright light in a 10-foot radius. Are they disturbed by that at all?
You see them kind of shield their eyes as they run in.
It's bright.
Would you all mind just like scooting this like maybe a couple inches forward to get it all on camera? Okay. Great. So, we've got the fire armor on Tuli. Misery, you're blowing your horn. To what effect are you going for here?
Oh, is this one?
Yeah, one of those. Loreleth
Okay.
is pretty broken. We need to fix hers.
Oh, right. What'd you say? What's my horn doing?
Yeah. What's your horn doing?
What's my horn doing? I'm
horn
gonna do +3 to initiative rolls.
Okay, so when we roll initiative, everyone can add 3 to their rolls.
That's cool.
You did your daylight.
Yep.
Where's your center of origin for that?
How far are they from me? Like
Where are
30
you?
feet?
Sorry, which one are you?
Right.
Oh, okay. That's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. You're about 30, 35 feet apart from each other.
I cast it on myself. It's a 60-foot.
Right.
So 30
Yeah.
feet here, just in case there's extras, and then pretty much covering up to. And then she did 10 foot of.
Fire, or lighter. Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
So-
It's a similar.
10-foot bright. It's fire light, so not UV.
Okay.
Right. And then Gwenlyn rages as well. Chris readies his hammer and pulls that out, and you hear immediate hissing and recoiling as this bright light is going out, and it's the same thing from you. As this light radiates around all of them, even though they're so persistent in their attack and running forward, their arms shoot up to kind of block their eyes, and they're kind of very wildly and ferally just like aimlessly slashing around them. Let's roll initiative.
Bibbidi bop.
Disadvantage.
And +3.
Nat 20.
Wow.
Did you roll 3 in a row? Oh, that's still close.
That'd be cool. I didn't.
That would have been really cool.
That would be cool.
Didn't your character die last time we did combat?
Yep.
I'm so excited to die again.
Okay.
Okay.
I can't keep them all straight. I need to tow before I do wolfies.
Hold off on those for 1 second, please.
There's too many.
Oh man, I should have said I would have turned.
Spooky.
Okay. If your initiative is... No, that's not how we do it. Okay, Joe, yours?
Okay, 23.
Okay. And we're adding 3 to these as well.
Yeah. I rolled a 16, and then I plus
yours?
27.
And then plus 3.
Jeez.
Wait, what's that?
What do you add to it generally?
I had 7 to my initiative.
That's right.
What?
Yeah, because you
yeah,
had
you're-
dexterity
you're
and
monk.
intelligence.
That's so cool. You're a smart monk.
Gwendolyn,
We're all adding 3
Yes.
regardless.
1 second. You're right, but 1 second.
Add it to what you already have.
Okay. Jeez. This horn doing
You
its
probably
work.
you rolled in that 20. You probably like 25 or something.
Yeah.
And yours was what? Sorry.
23.
Okay, you were ahead of Gwendolyn. Go ahead with yours.
Hi.
Oh my gosh.
We'll take them all out in one round.
We also just
Maybe.
rolled dice.
Yours?
I have a measly 19. Sorry, everyone.
Pathetic.
Sorry.
Jeez, this is great.
We should wipe them out before they even get a chance to.
Nemo, not Pilgrim. Okay. And Lorelith?
Orlith's was 14.
Okay. There it is.
What is Wolfie's?
Wolfie is
modifier?
the same as her. Like,
Okay.
Wolfie just goes after Lorelith.
Wolfie is 12.
Wor-
Oh, it is the
yes.
same. Okay, sorry.
Chris?
Oh.
Chris.
And he has 3 as well.
I didn't roll. I was trying to remember. No, I was like, his last stealth roll was a 6. I couldn't remember. 14 plus 3 plus anything else. 17. Christopher.
Let me double check.
He probably
Sorry.
has 2.
I don't want to assume.
He's gotta have something.
He's gotta have something.
Gotta have something.
He's really amped up.
Oh yeah, he has 1. So what was that total?
So it's 18.
18.
Thank
Joey
you.
said.
Jeez. She's still...
I believe him.
Does Wolfie have
Okay.
a character sheet?
Huh?
Does Wolfie have a character sheet?
Yeah, it's in extras on Lorelith. Okay, great. This is insane. This is exactly what the horn is made for. Scoot everybody up to the top. We are going to start with Tuli,
Alright.
and then Thelen, and then Misery.
Did you roll
So
like
prepare for that.
35?
Something like that. Alright.
6 of these damn fears surround you. All have run in. 2 have rushed directly to you. You emit in this fiery light, and they're scrambling, kind of shielding their eyes, but still trying to get up close to you.
Okay. I am going to attack the 2 closest to me with magic missile.
Okay.
Or should I actually maybe not do that? Sorry, I didn't have time to think about this.
I gotta figure out what
Gosh.